Hey, what's good, everybody? It is me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me on today's brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer is cosplayer Salmonnjupiter. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing awesome, and I just want to say that I love your Bucciarati cosplay. Now, just a little. Oh, you're welcome. Just a little, story on how I met Salmon. I had reached out to them because they had saw something that one of my other friends had posted when I was trying to do a JoJo pose challenge. And unfortunately, they were busy at the time, but I was just like, yo, your cosplays are awesome. So I want to interview you for my cosplay series, Who's That Cosplayer? So thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So something that we do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is I always ask everybody, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who Salmonnjupiter is.
Oh my God. I don't even know who I am sometimes, all the time. I don't know. I started doing this. Oh my God. I'm like, 24 now? I can't even remember my own age. I've been doing this since I was 18. So it's been like a few years. Yeah. It's kind of more of a hobby for me than anything. And, I've always liked dressing up. You probably heard this like thousands of times, but when you're a kid and it's Halloween, you love that and all that. Yeah, so I was definitely one of those kids like Halloween and dressing up and, theater and all that stuff. So, of course, getting into cosplay was super easy and super fun, and it still is, so...
Yeah, no, that is something that I hear from a lot of my guests is that, when they were kids, they grew up celebrating Halloween and just dressing up. And, I feel like Halloween is everybody's gateway into cosplay because it's like
it's the pipeline.
Exactly. Because it's like, you're already wearing the costumes and whatnot. But it's just like, because you're a kid, you're not looking at it like that. But then when you get older and it's just like, okay. And now there's nothing wrong with wearing Halloween costumes to cons and stuff like that, because I still consider that, cosplay in a way, but there is a different level when you actually wear actual costume. If I could compare it to anything, I guess it's like that meme where it's just like, I want McDonald's, and it's like, we got McDonald's at home.
We got food at home.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I compare it to.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that you've been doing it since you were 18. So let me ask you, how was it going to your first con, and who did you cosplay as? If you did cosplay at your first con.
I did cosplay at my first con, and it's actually where I got my namesake. I go by Ness. My name is Ness, and you probably already know who I went as at my first con. No, I definitely not. No, I definitely didn't take his name or anything because
Ness
people used to call me.
Ness from Earthbound.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. It's like
yes.
Okay. So I was sitting here thinking like, okay, they went as Ness, but I don't want to say they went as Ness because their name is Ness, and you just said it was Ness.
No, you got it. That's where the name is from.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now don't kill me, but I've never played any of the Earthbound games. I've never played any of the Mother games, even though it's on my SNES. I've never played it. My SNES Classic. But I have played as Ness in Super Smash Brothers, so I hope that counts as something.
I mean, I do main as Ness as well. And you know what? The fact that you know where he's from, like right off the bat, I was just like, oh my God. Because a lot of people think Ness and Lucas are from Smash Brothers and they don't have their own game. But you all know how Nintendo is. They're not really good at marketing stuff, especially in the 90s. So
yes. Yeah. I 100% agree with you on that. I'm one of those type of people where it's like, if I see somebody in something like when Rocket Raccoon was in I think it was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I didn't know who Rocket Raccoon was until I saw him in that game. And then I was just like, oh, he's with Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. And then it's announced that they're coming out with a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I was just like, okay, I guess this Rocket Raccoon guy is a big deal. And Rocket Raccoon was a big deal. And yeah. So
still is. Yeah.
Yeah, he still is. So, going back to cosplay, you said that you cosplayed as Nessa at your first con. How was that experience? And like after cosplaying as Ness, did it propel you to like, I want to keep on doing this?
Oh, it did. It definitely did. Like I knew I wanted to do like more characters and all that. I didn't know who exactly, but I did get into Earthbound like literally a few months before I graduated high school. And then after when I graduated, that's when I went to my first con, was in that summer. So I already had like everything planned out and everything for that con because I was excited. It was my friend, who's actually still my friend to this day, that got me into cosplaying and all that. And you know what? I don't know where I would be without cosplaying and stuff because, it's fun. It's fun,
I agree.
And I know a lot of people would say the same thing, like they don't know where they would be without it because it's a creative outlet, especially when you live in this day and age as a young person, just in general, in this world. Like you need something that kind of just helps out, I guess, in a way,
Yeah, that creative outlet. And like that's the one thing that I love about cosplay. I mean, because it's like you can go to a con and just be yourself and not be in costume, but there's something about cosplaying as one of your favorite characters, and you're being that character. Like right now you're cosplaying as Bucciarati, and I'm sure that when you cosplay as them at the cons, it's just like, I'm Bucciarati. And just to let everybody know, I mean, like y'all see the screenshots in the background, but Salmon, it's like the cosplays that you have, they're amazing. And you guys already know that I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So it's just like, just seeing all of the JoJo cosplays that you've done, like they're awesome.
Thank you. I definitely don't have him tattooed right here or anything. I definitely don't love him. He's definitely not, high up there.
But, to piggyback off of something that you had said, because, with the pandemic and everything, it's like a lot of cosplayers, they didn't have that outlet of going to a con and hanging with friends and showing off their costumes. So like, what did you do during the pandemic to still have that creative outlet that you would have at the cons?
A lot of it had to do with just like, I spent a lot of my time on social media during the pandemic and everything. I got laid off like a few months after it really started.
Sorry to hear that.
So I needed something to like, I already was following a bunch of people, but that's when it really like clicked. Like I could do a lot more creative stuff. Like I've seen a lot of cosplayers, for example, who cosplay from like very old series that they grew up with as a kid. I actually have plans that I really want to do from characters, specifically from like old stuff, like very nostalgic stuff. I'm very nostalgic based.
Love that.
So it's fueled, that creativity other than, anime characters or just cosplaying for cons. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, if you cosplay just at cons, it's a bad thing. Like, no, like you do whatever you want. But in terms of, me doing it, I found stuff in my closet that I could reuse, or if I have a good idea, especially when money is really scarce, especially still right now because we're still in a pandemic and jobs and stuff. Just like even today, I was just like, you know what, I might just do like a really casual, like stay at home mom Bucciarati. So it's all about using your resources and your creativity and everything if you can, and just, just come up with really cool stuff if it makes you happy. Of course, if it makes you happy, you're not pressured to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. You don't feel pressured. Yeah.
No, and to piggyback off of what you said, because when I had interviewed Snowflake Baby, they're a TikTok cosplayer, and one of the things that I had told them was, when it comes to cosplay, like you just said, you just a stay-at-home Bucciarati. It's like, as long as you have like the right pieces, like people will know who you are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you don't always have to go all out, especially, you know, with being at home during the pandemic and whatnot. I mean, yeah, it's cool if you do want to put on like a cosplay, or if you still want to purchase cosplays and, you know, post stuff online, but you can just do casual wear, and everybody who watches the anime and stuff, like, they'll know who you are. So another thing I want to piggyback off of is, because you said that you have ideas that you want to do that are for nostalgic purposes. So like, if you feel like revealing like what some of the cosplays are that you want to do, the floor is yours.
Oh my God, I don't even know. I can't remember like half the stuff anymore. I like have to write everything down, because I swear I have the mindset of a goldfish. Like, it's terrible. You know? Oh my God, I can give a few for sure. Oh my God, I found Blue's Clues definitely got very popular lately, especially with you know Steve and his brother getting, well, his brother, yeah, they are brothers. Yeah, you know how they reunited like Thanksgiving, everything.
Yeah.
And there's the whole pride thing. I grew up watching Blue's Clues with my brother, and that'd be really cute to do like a Blue's Clues cosplay with like my partner and everything. You know, it like I've seen a few Blue's Clues cosplays, but not a whole lot. And I think it'd be really cute, because it's like right up my alley when it comes to like cuteness. I'm also a really big Love Live cosplayer. I don't know if you noticed or anything. I'm into Love Live just as much as I am with JoJo. So, you know, of course I can incorporate that into it. And Blue's Clues, basically, I guess that's all I can give for now.
That's fine. That's fine. And you know, I do know what Love Live is. I didn't know what it was last year, but a lot of the cosplayers who I interviewed, like, they're in a bunch of Love Live groups where they perform the dances and whatnot. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm one of those type of people where it's like, if I don't know what something is, like, I'll explore it and see what it's all about, because Love Live, it's like, it's huge. That's what she said.
Huge.
And you know, I didn't know that it was this huge. That's what she said, until like I started interviewing these cosplayers that were doing the Love Live stuff. And also too, to piggyback off of what you had said about Blue's Clues, I really haven't seen a lot of people cosplay, you know, characters from Blue's Clues. And it was just like, again, with Snowflake Baby, I had mentioned to her that a lot of people don't cosplay as Endeavor. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you always see All Might, you see Deku, you see all these other characters from My Hero Academia, but you never see anybody do Endeavor. So I think it's cool that you want to cosplay as somebody that there really isn't a lot of demand for. And I feel like when there isn't a lot of demand for something, when you're the first person to do it, like, it brings a lot of attention to yourself, because it's just like, yo, I've never seen a Blue's Clues cosplay. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when you do it. When you and your partner do it, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, of course. Thank you. There's, you know, like, there's no shame in telling people, oh, you can't cosplay Deku, you can't cosplay like Levi from Attack on Titan, because it's so like overrated.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day, you do what you want. I know it's really cliche and cheesy and all that, but you do what you want to do. And, you know, I just so happen I want to do like old stuff, you know, like stuff from very old Disney shows, or even like obscure like animes. Like, I for sure liked obscure animes when I was in junior high. That'd be pretty cool to cosplay from that too, and you know, putting your own spin on stuff as well. Like, those are my favorite cosplays, as well as when people like mash up or do like spin-offs of like cosplays. Those are great, because I love to see creativity from that. I think they're funny too. I do follow this one cosplayer who did I think it was the SpongeBob from the first movie, where he's hanging from the ceiling, he's like in he's in like his magician kind of like Goofy Goober Rock thing.
I thought that was cosplayer.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites, you know, and I take inspiration from that a lot, just to do something different and bold, but like that you also really like to do. So yeah.
No, I totally love that. And I agree that it's just different because you know, my first cosplays that I did, I was Big Smoke from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and then my second cosplay, I was Dexter from the Good Burger movie. And like you said, it's just like it's cool to do cosplays that really aren't that popular, like I said earlier, where there's no demand for, because you normally don't see that stuff at cons. Like most of the time when you go to cons, you see the popular stuff. Like right now, Demon Slayer is a really popular one. So like you're going to see a lot of Demon Slayer. Then a few years ago, it was My Hero Academia. So now, like most of the time when I go to cons, I'm seeing Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia stuff. Occasionally you'll still see some Dragon Ball Z stuff, or you'll see some other stuff, but it's you'll see huge parties of Demon Slayer characters, which is cool, you know. And that's one of the things that I love about cons, because you can cosplay whoever you want to cosplay as. So I want to ask you, because again, I mentioned the JoJo cosplays and seeing all of the costumes that you've done on your page. What are some of your favorite cosplays that you've done? Who's that cosplayer?
It's Kitty, it's Blaze.
Oh my gosh. Well, I see it on your screen, like in the back, but probably Jacket from Hotline Miami was definitely really cool to do. This was a few years back, right? How old was I? It was in 2017, was it? Yeah, I was like 20. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that it was super hot and I was wearing like a full ass Leatherman jacket, I mean, it was totally cool. I felt sexy. Yeah. I felt really hot. Like I usually don't feel like that, even back then. Nowadays I have a bit more self-esteem, but back then that was a big deal for me. I actually remember one of my friends, we're really good friends now, they admitted to me that this was back before we were friends, but they saw me in that cosplay and they straight up told me they were terrified of me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. But in reality, that cosplay that I was in, that freaking rooster head and that Letterman jacket and like full of like blood and dirt, like fake blood and dirt, was really just really like this really shy, nerdy person that didn't have self-esteem, but I felt really empowered in that. And that was a great shoot to do too. We did it in the parkade of like the university we went to for that convention. So it's definitely one of my favorites. Maybe one day I'll redo it. I just don't know when. It depends how I feel. Yeah. But it's definitely still one of my favorites, like 4 or 5 years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, it's like how you said, it's just like back then, it's just like, you know, your self-consciousness was lower, but now it's just like you leveled up. So it's just like now when you do it, it's just like, hey, it's a whole new person. And I just want to say that it does look dope. The chicken the chicken head, the leather jacket, like when I saw it, I was just like, oh, I wonder where this is from. But yeah, it's a badass cosplay. And if if you bring it back, I think that'll be awesome as well. And it just goes back to, you know, one thing I always say about cosplaying. It's just like when you put on these outfits, it's just like you're not yourself anymore. You're that character. So it takes you out of your comfort zone, because you're cosplaying as these different characters. And it goes back to when you go to these cons, because it's just like you're not yourself. You're the character that you're cosplaying as. So So I want to ask you this now for you know, because we're in 2022 now. What cons are you looking to attend this year? And do you have any new cosplays that you want to debut at these cons, or are you going to debut some of the cosplays that you've been doing during the pandemic?
I do. I mean, I am already going to like cons in 2022. Well, the first one is a smaller one in January, and of course we're going because I'm performing with, you know, my Love Live IL group. Nice. Yeah, there's definitely some conventions like near where I live in like Alberta that are starting up again. I'm really excited because not only, you know, I miss going to conventions, you know, I miss seeing a lot of my friends as well. There's some people I haven't seen in like almost 2 years. Last con I went to was KatsuCon 2020, and then that's when everything like went downhill. And you know, I miss it, you know. Before, like COVID, you know, it's like, oh, it's another convention, you know, I'm already like, you're usually super excited anyways, but now because you haven't gone, like people haven't gone in like almost 2 years,
Yeah.
it's completely different. It's just like, oh my God, this is happening again. I'm so excited. Like, I can't, like, I'm not saying, look, I can't sleep or anything, but like, it's something to look forward to again. It's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel in a way, especially for me, because just a lot of stuff has been happening personally for me, and it hasn't been that great. But then going into the new year, just like some sort of fresh start, and you know, going to conventions and doing stuff again, and getting to travel and see everybody and see cosplayers and see, you know, guests and everything. You know, that's the reason why I went, because I wanted to cosplay and I wanted to see what was up, and I wanted to be a part of it. And you know, I honestly, I like to make the joke that, you know, we're gonna be like 80 years old and still in cosplay at conventions. We're gonna be like the cool old we're gonna be the cool like grandmas and grandpas when we go there and everything. So yeah, like it's pretty much part of my identity as well, because I've been doing it for so long, and then there's just a gap. It feels like something's missing, you know, especially when you're an adult.
Yep.
You know, you don't get even like, what am I saying? You don't get to experience a whole lot of fun stuff like kids do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's kind of like frowned upon, but you do whatever you want as an adult. You have fun.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you. One of the things that I was just telling one of my former guests up here, who's at Cosplayer, Kitty Eve's Play, is that she was saying something similar to what you were saying about how when you get older, it's kind of frowned upon when you still want to cosplay and when you want to go to the cons. But like you just said, it's like, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're, you know, not out doing anything crazy and whatnot, then you're good to go. It's funny that the people who say that, oh, well, you should grow out of that, or, you know, that's that kid stuff. It's just like most of those people, it's just like their lives are miserable. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when it comes to cosplaying, it's like you're going to these cons, you're having a good time, you're meeting new friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love cosplay. That's why I love the convention scene. And that's what brings me up to the next thing that I want to bring up, because, you know, you mentioned Love Live, and, you know, I want to talk about your idol group, the Sugar Pop. So, so, you know, talk with us about that. Like, you know, have you always been a dancer? And if so, like, what made you want to, you know, do the Sugar Pop stuff?
Oh my God. Okay. I love, you know, like, I don't know. There's something about like dancing and performing to me that's always been like a fundamental part of my being. Just for backstory, I guess, context, I was a dancer from age 6 to 16. So I have 10 years of like competitive dance under my belt. And then I quit when I was about 16, just because, you know, the school system here, I started high school at 16. A lot of stuff has been going on in my life at that point, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I got into JoJo and Love Live literally the same month, the same year. Just putting that out there. I just find that really funny. I remember going to one convention a few years ago, and I was really curious about, you know, one of the Love Live groups that was performing, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I really want to be a part of one of these. And I reached out, and I was able to find one in early 2018, and that was Sugar Pop. So I was thinking about that actually when we were at practice the other day, like last week, how like I've been part of Sugar Pop pretty much since day one. It's been like almost 4 years since I've been a part of it.
That's awesome.
I also find it funny that, you know, I was like, I was a professional, well, not professional, but like competitive dancer for like 10 years, and then I quit. And then now, you know, starting from my 20s, and now I'm 24, I'm literally cosplaying like a 16-year-old high school girl, just dancing along to like the frilliest stuff ever. It's fun though, okay?
Yeah.
Love Live is definitely like a I don't want to say like a coping thing, but it's a series that I love, and that brings me a lot of joy too because of the music and the art style. I know a lot of people probably said the same thing, but it's fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it. That's all it is pretty much. But yeah.
No, that's awesome. And like you said, I mean, when it comes to, dressing up as the characters and dancing, like the videos that I've seen from everybody that does Love Live, like all of the videos are awesome. And I just love that this anime has really inspired people to kind of come out of their shell. I mean, like if they've already been dancing all their life, but to actually, dance and perform in front of people and whatnot. I know you had mentioned, going to KatsuCon 2020. Did you perform at the contest that they had?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
It was just a trip for my partner and I that we went to, but we did go see idols performing while in JoJo cosplay, and I had like the pen lights and everything.
Nice.
So yeah, you can say I really like idols.
No, that's cool.
If I have pen lights and everything.
Well, I'm going to KatsuCon this year, and like like I said, some of the cosplayers that I interviewed who are in Love Live groups, they're going to be performing there this year. So I can't wait to actually see them perform live. Like just seeing the videos on YouTube, I'm just like, yo, like this is awesome. So I can't wait to actually be there in person and, holding up I don't know what the light things are, but holding them up and swinging them and cheering for my friends. Like they're
going to love it. Oh my God. You're going to love it. Even if you're not into like Love Live and dancing, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I love musicals. So it's gonna.
There you go. There's a start.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
one of my favorite musicals is Hairspray, the 2007 version. Like I remember that, and also Rent. Like that's another one of my favorites as well. But yeah, man, like I'm looking forward to going to KatsuCon and seeing everybody perform. I think it's awesome that you're in a Love Live group because, like I said, again, with cosplay and everything, it makes you go beyond plus ultra, as All Might and Deku would say. So now I want to ask you this, what are some of your hobbies that you're into when you're not cosplaying, when you're not dancing? What do you like to get into?
Oh my goodness. Like cosplay is like a hobby. I don't do it like all the time, but only when I want to. What do I even like to do anymore? I am a graphic designer by profession. I don't work as a graphic designer right now, but I do, occasionally do it. I did work in an office before. I do want to get back into a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of I really like to get back into photography again. I play video games a little bit. I'm not the greatest, but I try to anyways. Again, like the dancing part, I definitely like doing that for sure. It's a great stress reliever for sure, like in a progressive and creative way, of course. Oh my God, does sleeping count as a hobby?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't get a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Most
I get too much of it, but
I wish that I could get more sleep. I mean, I'm always so busy. I want to say I usually sometimes only get like 4 to 5 hours, and people are just like, how? I know. And it's crazy because it's like I'll sleep for that long, and then like I'll wake up and be full of energy. I feel like it's just the gamer in me because when I was younger, I used to, be up all night playing video games and will wake up and then go right to work, and I wouldn't be tired. But that tiredness, it does hit you after a while, though.
It does.
I have noticed that. But sleep does count as a hobby.
Maybe not a healthy one per se, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, I love all of that, man. And, to piggyback off of what you were saying about dancing, I'm not the biggest dancer, but I had went to my friend's wedding. Well, I was a part of my friend's wedding last year. And, I had told one of the other groomsmen, I was just like, I'm not really the best dancer, story time, going all the way back to 2007 when I had went to my senior prom. I told my date, I was just like, yeah, I don't know how to dance for real. So, you're going to have to lead me. And you want to know what she did? She did lead, but she didn't lead with me. And I was just like, dang.
What'd you do?
So
Oh.
I did end up finding somebody else, and then we danced all night. So it's just like I've just never really been like a big dancer. But when I was at the wedding, I told the other groomsmen, I was just like, yeah, I'm not really that good. And he was just like, hey, just follow my lead. And I was just like, yo, that's what I tell everybody. And I just followed his lead, and like I was killing it on the dance floor. I was like, yo, this is fun. So
yeah,
you know, that's definitely something that I want to continue to do, is just to keep dancing, because like there's just so much energy into it. There's so much magic that's in dancing, especially when you're doing stuff that you never thought that you could do before. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So now, because we're getting towards the end of the interview, and you know that we can't wrap this thing up without talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So first thing I want to tell you is you cosplayed as one of my favorite villains from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that's Kira. I love Kira. Is part 4, is that your favorite part? Or
it is. It is. Part 4 and part 8 are both my favorite parts, and both the Josuke's are my favorite JoJo's. So
yes, same. Well, I haven't read JoJo Leon, but I will eventually. I'm reading part 6 right now. But Josuke, that's my favorite JoJo. You know, Kira is my favorite villain. It used to be Dio until I watched part 4, and I was just like, yo, I love Kira. Dio's number 2, but Kira, like, that's my favorite villain.
Kira's number 1.
Yeah, Kira is number 1, and he almost got away with it if it wasn't for them meddling kids. But I want to ask you, have you watched part 6 yet?
I have watched the batch that was released. Yeah.
Nice. And what did you think about it?
It's great. I don't want to be biased because Foo Fighters is my favorite ever. Like I love Bucciarati and Foo Fighters. They're both my favorite Joe Bros.
Yeah. Hold on, no great. Spoilers. No spoilers.
No. I'm not the type of person to say spoilers. I'm just gonna say, you know, it's great. Animation is so good. It's great. You know, if there are some things that could change about it, you know, there could be like you know how animes are, they'll like skip like a panel or 2.
Yeah, from the manga. Yeah.
For some reason, for some reason. But other than that, it's great. Like
it's perfect.
You know, it's perfect. It's pretty much perfect, yeah. And you know, everybody who's watched like the 12 episode batch right now, we're all kind of like waiting, and we're all like, okay, when's it dropping? Come on.
Yeah, it's like real talk. Like since I finished watching it, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with my life now?
Oh yeah.
It's like I just keep on humming the opening theme song, and you know, I'll go on YouTube at work and I'll just type in Jolene's theme, because it's just like it was just so perfect. And like I like real talk, I love Poochie and the black outfit over the purple one. I mean, I like for so long I've only known him in the purple outfit, but just seeing him in that black, like it's just something about the color that's just so sleek and sexy about it. So yeah, I can't wait until the second half of that does come out. And you know, one thing that I always say that I love and appreciate about part 6 is, you know, we had Kira Buckland on our podcast, and she voices Jolene, and you know, I just love that when we interviewed her, one of the goals on her website was that she wanted to voice Jolene, and I had asked her, I was just like, you know, like how would that feeling feel if you did get it? And like she was just like, you know, she would love to do it, but if she didn't get the role, she would understand. And then when it was announced, I was just like, hell yeah, like pinkies up.
Oh my
and she did a good job.
She did.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to, you know, see the second half of that come out. But yeah, like I said, you know, we're at the end of the episode now. Thank you so much for coming up here, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So final question that I have for you is, what advice would you give to anybody that wants to get into cosplaying?
I was waiting for this. I don't think this goes for like age or anything, but if you find it interesting and you find it fun and you're like, well, I don't know if, you know, I look good in it. It's like, it's a lot of the time people are like, well, I don't know if I'm good at it or anything. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Like that's what I did. Like I You know, it was the first time I ever cosplayed as Ness. And you mean, like, you know, you might think you're bad and everything, but if you genuinely love doing it and you keep going at it, you'll improve. Like, I've done a lot of like Bruno makeup since I started cosplaying him all the way back in like 2019, and I'm still trying to get better at him and everything. I still want to get, you know, like his proper suit and everything. It's all about building like your skill, and it's not a pressure thing either. Like, you shouldn't feel pressured to do it either if you don't want to. You need to know your limits as well. But just, you know, it sounds cheesy and everything when you say just do it. But you have to, you know, take risks and everything. Unfortunately, you know, I don't know if this sounds too grim, but we're all gonna die anyway, so might as well just do it. You know? Like, what do you have to lose? Like, so what if people see it and it's like embarrassing? Like, at least you had fun and everything. They're the ones that are boring and missing out. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you on that. It's like you're always leveling up, and that's what cosplay is all about. So, Salmon, thank you so much for joining me on Who's That Cosplayer. Before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
So my social media is, I mostly use Instagram, but I know you can find my other handles somewhere on my Instagram, but that's pretty much all I use. So it's Salmonnjupiter. So it's Salmon and then an extra N and then Jupiter, like the planet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you again. I don't know how many times I said thank you, but it's like
It's all good.
I'm just always very appreciative of, you know, all of the cosplayers who take time out of their day to come up here and join me. So thank you so much. You guys know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, everybody, for watching this brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. It's my birthday month. We're celebrating all month. So make sure that you keep that pinky up. You stay safe. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.